The Senate finally voted on this Healthcare and Climate Change Act called the Inflation Reduction Act, and the answer is it is passed and no EVs qualify. Wait, what? That's right, no electric vehicles on the market today qualify for the new EV tax credit. Well, this is not the news we want. I'm going to go into exactly what's going on. Well, we thought that this was going to be easy. In the last video, I predicted a favorable outcome in that this would pass, and in fact, it did. So that came true, but the main issue is not about how much money is possibly being given for your Tesla. It actually has to do with the batteries. So if you remember my last video, we were talking about some of these requirements in the Inflation Act, and one of them says 40% of the materials sourced for the batteries must be sourced from North America or a US trading partner by 2024. So what does this mean? Well, first of all, the rear wheel drive, that's battery. The battery for the Model 3 rear wheel drive is produced in China. So when we're talking about battery components, that immediately eliminates the Model 3 rear wheel drive. But surely the long range Model 3 is going to qualify, but it doesn't because it's more expensive than the $55,000 vehicle cap. Well, surely there's some good news in the Model Y, right? Well, good news in the Model Y, it does. Both models fall beneath the $80,000 requirement of SUVs, and the Model Y is a small SUV. The prices are below that $80,000. But wait, the main theme here is again the batteries, and while the price falls beneath that $80,000 cap for SUVs, again the batteries are the main question here. Now we are still learning about where the components of the Model Y battery comes. Now is it domestic in here in the United States, in which case that EV tax credit would be good to go. Now we're still learning about where the Model Y battery components come from. Are they going to qualify? So just remember, this $7,500 is broken up into two segments each of $3,750 for the battery components. So we know the Model Y qualifies on price. For sedans, the Model 3, it's $55,000, and SUVs, $80,000. Well, the big question mark right now, what everybody is wondering all over the Tesla community, is where do those battery components come from? Because it's the big difference between you getting the full $7,500 or half of that, which is $3,750. So will Teslas qualify based on the battery components? Will Elon and the Tesla team lower their prices? Where does this all come into play? Will inflation raise prices or lower prices of Teslas? Well, listen to this.
And I think inflation is going to drop rapidly. That's my guess. I don't know. What do you guys think?
This is not the good news that we were hoping for. Again, the fine print. This is a 2,100-page act, and surely, like every single proposal, there's some things in there that are fine print. And long story short, not a lot of people are happy with Senator Joe Manchin. There was some excitement around him initially leading the charge, giving all the great things that we want to hear about EV future. And now it looks like we've been hosed. So this is what I want you to do. As far as price increases or decreases, when should you order your Tesla? Well, I want you to get the latest when we find out, is the Model Y going to be qualified? Will there be price changes? Make sure to subscribe because this is probably one of the most important weeks as far as getting $7,500. A lot of answers are coming down the road, but here's what I want you to do. Well, there are two trains of thought. One, with this much government spending, inflation on the rise could be possible, which means prices for Teslas could go up. But if you listen to Elon, he said this.
The prices are trending down in 6 months, 6 months from now. Now, this could change, obviously, but the trend is down, which suggests that we are past peak inflation. My guess is that we are past peak inflation. And that we will have a recession. I think it will be a relatively mild recession, sort of, but I'm just guessing here. This is total speculation. But I would guess it's a mild recession for, I don't know, 18 months or something like that. It would be my best guess right now.
he's seeing that the trend for the components that make up these batteries are trending downward, and he's also seeing and predicting a sharp decline in inflation. And he also took to Twitter in the past and said if that happens, inflation goes down, so will the price of Teslas. So my strategy is this. Elon knows 6 months ahead of time, which he talked about in the shareholders meeting, what the trends are for material prices. That's how they predict the price of their car, because a lot of the wait times are months down the road. So they have to future predict their car prices. And if he is seeing that inflation could sharply decline, then thus would price decreases. That would happen. I'm expecting a price decrease over the next 2 or 3 months by the end of the year of around $3,000 or less. So my strategy, what I think is going to happen, I think we're going to see some price decreases. There's some worry about all of this spending, about possible inflation. But Elon knows his supply chain, so I want you to subscribe to see if this does happen. My strategy is I'm going to give it a few months and we're going to see what happens. So no EVs qualifying for this EV tax credit. Well, it's going to be really difficult for them to qualify. And by the way, it's only going to get worse, because the way that is written, this act, that more and more, a higher percentage of these materials by 2029 has to be 100% domestic here in the United States. 100% made in North America, I should say, not just the United States. So the requirements are going to get even stricter as time goes on. Might be another reason why, if your Tesla does qualify, at least for a part of this credit, again, subscribe, because we're going to figure all that out. Model Y, Model 3, price changes. It's only going to get harder for Tesla to get any money from this EV tax credit. Well, it might not have been the perfect news, but it is the latest. And to get the latest, make sure to subscribe. And also, if you are thinking about getting a Tesla, the best accessories at your door in a few days from Amazon are in the links in the description. So make sure to check those out. Again, the only way I know you like this content is, of course, to drop a like and make sure to consider subscribing. This is Matt from Funk to Trunk. We will see you in the next video.